What's up, you guys, and welcome back to some more r/slash real talk stories with your boy RT and my dude Dale. You guys, today we're gonna dive into some real talk Am I the A-hole stories where OP decides to skip out on his brother's wedding for a tennis tournament. Now, I don't know about you guys, but doesn't that old saying say bros before tennis tournaments or something like that? I don't know, y'all. But without any further ado, you guys, let's dive right on in.
I'm traveling with 5 friends now, and we are traveling cheap. However, we had one long layover in an airport that had a great VIP lounge. The thing about these lounges is that they have free food and liquor, and comfortable chairs and shower facilities. I told my friends what I was about to do, and they all said that they didn't want to waste money. So I went to the lounge by myself. I had some snacks, a few drinks, a quick nap, a long, hot shower. And then I caught up with my friends at the gate. My phone was fully charged, I was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and a little drunk. When we started talking, they were pissed about the cost of everything at the airport. They asked why I looked so pleased with myself. I told them about my stay in the lounge. 2 of them got visibly angry. They said I was an a-hole for not telling everything there was in the lounge. They had actually spent more on food and drinks than I had. Plus, I got to nap in a comfy chair and have a shower. I said that lounges aren't a secret and that the internet exists. They could have looked up the same information I did. So am I the a-hole for paying for the lounge?
I'll be honest with you, I have flown a dime a dozen times, but I cannot tell you that I have ever seen an airport lounge as described by OP in this story. It seems like this particular lounge is like luxurious. Like maybe I'm probably just not flying at the right airports or whatnot, but I sure would like to. You know, I think OP is completely in the right with this. It's not OP's job to have to share every little detail about what OP is doing to his friends or her friends. It is not OP's job to share all of the details about the lounge. OP disclosed that, they were going to the lounge. OP disclosed what was taking place, and it was OP's decision to do that. It's not OP's job or responsibility to share all of that extra information. I mean, hopefully OP's friends are competent and comparable and able to, form and ask basic questions and have enough common sense to go and ask the right person the appropriate questions. I just think it's ironic that OP clearly shared that the friend group that OP was with didn't want to waste money, but the funny thing is that they ended up wasting money doing less than what OP did in the lounge or whatnot. I think it's absolutely hilarious. They bought food and they went through the airport and they ended up spending more money than OP did. And OP showered, had, some liquid courage just to kind of settle OP down or whatnot and just kind of get OP nice and relaxed and ready for the next flight. OP was able to eat and just sit back and relax. So, that old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it. That is like perfect for this particular instance. You can lead the friends to the lounge, but you can't make them pay to enter into the lounge. So, OP, you are not the a-hole for turning around and enjoying and paying for the lounge at the airport during your long layover. I think that this was probably a wise and very smart move on your part. Your friends are probably just mad that they just missed out on the opportunity to enjoy the luxurious experience that one can have in the airport. So, OP, you are not the a-hole. Next story, y'all.
I have certain religious dietary restrictions that include not eating certain things and fasting during certain religious times. My husband doesn't. When I'm required to fast, he thinks it's hilarious to go to my favorite restaurant, get my favorite dish to go, and eat it in front of me. When I tell him he's being mean-spirited, he says that I'm doing it to myself and that I could partake if I really wanted to, and that I shouldn't get irritated with him. I try not to let it bother me, but he does this every time. I usually just leave the room, but then he says I'm being too sensitive. Am I the a-hole for getting irritated by my husband eating in front of me? Edit. He's religious too, just not the same kind. This also only started a few years ago.
So I want us to take a very close look at what OP just said. It only started a few years ago, which means that everything was perfectly fine prior to a few years ago, but there had to have been something that completely flipped the script in the most recent years. There had to have been some type of event or moment that took place that led OP's husband to turn around and just act like a jerk, like a child, to be neglectful to his wife. In my opinion, I think that there is a decent level of, emotional and verbal abuse in this particular instance. I hate saying that, but if you truly love your spouse, your partner, then you're not going to turn around and have this type of behavior. You're not going to be mean-spirited in this way. You're not going to be emotionally neglectful, emotionally abusive. I think that, spouses who are in different faith backgrounds, who practice different faith backgrounds, I think that's perfectly fine, and I think that's perfectly doable. It's manageable. It can work. However, when you are not supporting your other half, that's when things start to go downhill. That's when you start to see issues start to arise. I think it could be a situation where OP's husband may have been not so supportive to his core in the beginning of her and her religious background and what she practices. Maybe it was a thing where he just kind of went with the flow and was like in the puppy dog phase. The puppy love phase. I don't know why I said puppy dog, but the puppy love phase up until a few years ago, and was very passive and just kind of let any and everything pass. But the way that he's truly feeling is starting to come out. Maybe he does not support OP, or maybe he does not support OP in this particular faith. Maybe he does not support this particular faith. I don't know what it is. It could be a dime a dozen things, in my opinion. However, I just know for a fact that this entire situation comes across as very neglectful for a husband, somewhat, verbally and emotionally abusive, in my opinion. And I don't think that it's something that you should find joy in joking about, especially when it's something as important as it is. I'm a devout believer in Christ. I'm a Christ follower. In that same breath, I always encourage people to believe in something. I don't ever force feeding what it is that I believe down anyone's throat. I like sharing, and I feel like we all should share. That way we all kind of get an idea of where each other are and our perspectives are. Whether you believe in the Islamic faith, whether you practice that, whether you are a subscriber to the Jewish faith or the Hindu faith or the Buddhist faith, or whatever it is, wherever you lie on that spectrum of beliefs, it's your prerogative. That's where you have the freedom to say, this is where I live, this is where I thrive. And I feel like there's a lot more division in that particular arena of life than there should be. And when it comes to a marriage, when it comes to a relationship, even if you are subscribing to two completely different things, I feel like if you genuinely love the person that you are with, you are going to support them as they continue to walk down the journey in the faith practice that they are in. Whether you subscribe to it or not, you are going to support them. You are going to ride it out with them. And I think that is absolutely a beautiful and a very selfless thing. And it goes both ways. It's not just one-sided. It goes both ways. OP, you are definitely not the a-hole. Your husband's a jerk. Your husband is definitely an a-hole, and I hope that he begins to see the error of his ways, and I hope it's done before it's too detrimental to repair your marriage, and it causes unimaginable damage to what you guys have. So good luck with that. To everybody who's in that type of a situation, please continue to support your spouse wherever they are in their faith walk, in whatever belief system that they are a part of. Don't be like OP's husband.
So I, male 26, play in a lot of adult tennis leagues in the area I live in. If your team wins the league, you get to go to a big tournament later in the year at a big tennis complex in the middle of the state. A men's team I was on won our league 2 weeks ago, and the big tournament is in 4 months. In order to play at this tournament, you need at least 6 players to be able to make it. Of the 9 people on my team, 6, including me, have said they can make it, while the other 3 can't make it for various reasons, so we have just enough. 4 months ago, my brother, male 24, got engaged to his fiancée, female 23. I was super happy for them, and when he asked me to be his best man, I of course accepted. They don't want to wait too long and almost immediately started wedding planning. They plan to just have a small ceremony with close family and friends. Last week, my brother told me they were finalizing a date after much delay and mentioned 3 dates on 3 separate weekends, the same month I have my tournament. One of which was the weekend of my tournament. I told my brother that I already had plans that weekend and that the other 2 would be better, though I understood it was their wedding. He sounded like he understood, but 3 days ago he announced to everyone attending that the wedding would be on the weekend of my tournament. I asked him privately why they picked that date, and all he said was it felt like the right date to his fiancée. The wedding and tournament are not close to each other at all, so I can't attend both. After thinking about it for the last 2 days, I told my brother yesterday that I can't make his wedding. I had already committed to my teammates, and if I didn't go, no one could, since we wouldn't have enough guys. My brother was very upset and called me various names and said he couldn't believe I would miss his big day. He told my parents, and now they, along with a bunch of other relatives, are giving me grief for my decision. So am I the a-hole? I feel really bad and want to be there. But I also did commit to the tournament first, and don't want to let everyone on my team down.
So I'll go ahead and say this. OP, I do not think that you're the a-hole for sticking to your commitment and playing tennis with a group of people that you already committed to playing tennis with in this particular tournament. I commend you for, upholding your commitment and staying true to what it is that you feel is right and just in this particular instance. In that same breath, I will say 9 times out of 10, you probably could have made this come across to your brother a lot clearer. I feel like, when you said I have plans to your brother, anything could be plans. To go to this tennis tournament and to play could be your plans, or to go to the grocery store, or to go and get some lunch with an old friend that you haven't connected with in years could be your plans. So I feel like there was a bit of poor communication in this. I feel like you could have been a lot more specific and not as vague as you were, OP. I feel like if you were to have said something like this, if you were to have said, so, brother, I know that you are planning your wedding and this is the weekend that you were wanting to do it on. However, I have a prior engagement, a prior commitment to participate in this particular tournament. I've had this commitment for X amount of days, X amount of weeks, X amount of years or months or whatever the case is. And I cannot back out of this particular commitment. It's a commitment. It's a big event. It's a big thing. It's a big ordeal. It's something that's pre-existing. So if you do it on this particular weekend, if you have your wedding on this weekend, I will not be able to attend. OP, you should have said, if you do it on this weekend, I cannot attend. It's great that you said it's up to you. It's your choice. It's your wedding. I can't tell you what to do. However, you should have been very specific and say, I won't be there if you do it on this weekend. Because chances are, your brother may not have turned around and done it on that weekend. And if he did, he would have already heard you say, I will not be able to be there on this weekend. So he couldn't be mad. Because at that point, you laid out the cards. You told him what it was. And, he knows at that point that you can't be there. So I'm going to say that in this instance, I don't know. I'll say this. OP, you're not the a-hole because, it's your commitment. You have the ability to choose to do whatever you want. And your brother's not the a-hole. His fiance's not the a-hole because they have the ability to do and choose whatever it is that they want. So nobody's the a-hole. I just feel like there's just a lot of communication that could have been done a little bit better. There's a lot of poor communication, miscommunication in this particular situation, but I don't know. I could be wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you guys, y'all let me know what you think down in the comment section. Do you think that OP's the a-hole for skipping out on his brother's wedding? I get the brother being upset, but OP, it doesn't sound like OP explained it very well. So do you think that OP could have, shared this information with his brother a little bit better? Do you think the brother's the jerk for choosing this particular weekend? Do you think the brother was being spiteful? Again, there's probably a lot of details that we don't know, but based off of this, what are your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen? You guys hop down into the comment section. You guys let me know what you think. Let me know who you feel the a-hole is or who the a-holes are, if there are multiple a-holes in the situation. You guys, I want to know where you guys stand with these particular stories, y'all. I appreciate y'all, and I always enjoy getting to share some real talk stories with you guys. Y'all, if y'all have enjoyed today's videos, y'all be sure to click the like button, smash that subscription button, and be sure to click on that bell notification icon. That way you guys will be notified every single time we upload a brand new video here on the channel for this community, y'all. And until next time, you guys, many blessings and much love, y'all.